Welcome to your Health Facts. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of eggs.
hmm
Specifically, what makes some eggs pricier than others, and what those differences mean for you. You might be surprised to learn just how much the lives of chickens impact the nutritional value of their eggs.
Yeah, when you're standing in the grocery aisle staring at rows and rows of egg cartons, it can be overwhelming trying to figure out what all the different labels mean.
Right.
You see cage-free, free-range pasture-raised, but what do those actually tell us about the lives of the chickens and the quality of the eggs?
Yeah.
So these labels primarily refer to the living conditions of the hens that lay the eggs. Caged hens, unfortunately, have the most restricted space.
Okay.
They're confined to an area that's really only a little larger than a sheet of standard printer paper.
Wow.
Imagine spending your entire life in a space that small.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Cage-free hens, while they're not confined to individual cages, still live in pretty crowded barns with limited space to move around. Free-range or free-roaming hens have a bit more space and some access to the outdoors, although the actual amount of outdoor access can vary quite a bit from farm to farm.
I see.
Pasture-raised hens arguably have the best living conditions with access to spacious outdoor areas where they can roam and forage and engage in natural behaviors.
Gotcha.
This difference in living conditions not only impacts the hen's welfare, but can also have an influence on the nutritional content of their eggs.
That's wild. It really makes you think about how the food choices that we're making affect so many things down the line.
Mm.
But I want to shift gears just a little bit and talk about what these chickens are actually eating. Because, as you might imagine, their diet also plays a really crucial role in the quality of their eggs.
Absolutely. A hen's diet is every bit as important as her living conditions when it comes to the nutritional value of her eggs.
Okay.
Conventionally raised chickens are typically fed a diet consisting primarily of genetically modified corn and soy. Now, while this diet is cost-effective for large-scale production, it can lead to an imbalance in the types of fats found in the eggs.
Hmm.
So specifically, these eggs tend to be higher in omega-6 fatty acids and relatively low in omega-3 fatty acids.
Interesting.
And this imbalance can be problematic for us because our bodies really need a healthy ratio of these essential fatty acids. When we consume too many omega-6s and not enough omega-3s, it can actually contribute to inflammation in the body.
Oh, wow.
And, inflammation is linked to a whole bunch of different health issues from heart disease to autoimmune disorders.
Right.
Additionally, this fatty acid imbalance can actually affect our mitochondria, which are the energy-producing powerhouses within our cells.
Wow.
So the food that we eat literally impacts the way our cells function at the most basic level.
It's amazing, isn't it? I feel like we never really think about that connection as much as we should. And it makes you wonder, are there alternative ways to feed chickens that could lead to a healthier balance of these essential fatty acids?
Yeah. Well, fortunately, some farmers are exploring alternative feed options that prioritize the hen's health and in turn produce eggs with a better nutritional profile.
Okay.
These options often involve a more diverse diet that includes organic grains, seeds, and even insects.
Insects.
Yeah, insects might sound unusual, but they're actually a natural part of a chicken's diet in the wild.
Huh. That's interesting.
So providing chickens with a diet closer to what they would naturally eat can result in eggs that have a healthier balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids.
Interesting.
This translates into a healthier product for us to consume.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting to me. We've talked about, the living conditions of chickens and how their diet can impact the nutritional content of their eggs. But how do those factors actually translate into tangible differences in the eggs that we're buying at the store?
Right.
For example, like what would make a pasture-raised egg with a healthy omega fatty acid profile different from just a conventional egg?
That's a great question, and it's one that more and more consumers are starting to ask. The differences might not be immediately obvious just by looking at the eggs, but they become more apparent when you kind of delve into their nutritional composition.
Gotcha.
For instance, research has shown that pasture-raised eggs tend to have higher levels of certain nutrients like vitamins A, E, and D, as well as those omega-3 fatty acids.
Okay.
They also typically have lower levels of cholesterol and saturated fat compared to conventional eggs.
Interesting.
These differences can be attributed to the hen's access to fresh pasture sunlight and a more natural diet.
Hmm.
Essentially, a healthier, more natural lifestyle for the hen translates into a more nutritious and flavorful egg for us.
That makes sense. It's just eye-opening to consider that something as simple as an egg has such a complex story behind it. But let's be realistic, these higher quality eggs often come with a higher price tag. So is the nutritional difference really worth the extra cost?
That's a valid point, and ultimately the decision comes down to individual priorities and budget. However, it's important to view it as an investment in your health.
Okay.
Choosing eggs from hens that have been raised in more humane and natural conditions and fed a healthier diet is a way of voting with your dollars and supporting a more sustainable and ethical food system.
Hmm.
Moreover, the potential health benefits of consuming these more nutrient-rich eggs can outweigh the extra cost in the long run.
Right.
A diet rich in omega-3 fatty acids, for example, can help reduce inflammation, improve heart health, and support brain function.
Okay.
These benefits can lead to lower healthcare costs and a better quality of life overall. So while the initial cost might be higher, the long-term benefits can be significant.
That's a really compelling argument.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that food choices aren't just about individual preferences, but they have these broader implications for our health, the environment, and the ethical treatment of animals. So the next time you're at the grocery store, consider opting for eggs that come from hens that have been raised in more humane conditions and fed a healthy diet. It's an investment in your health and a step towards a more sustainable food system.
Absolutely. And remember, even small changes in our dietary choices can have a ripple effect.
Right.
By being more conscious consumers, we can drive demand for higher quality products and encourage more sustainable practices within the food industry.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. This has been a really enlightening deep dive into the world of eggs. For those of you listening who are interested in learning more about making healthier food choices, be sure to subscribe to yourhealthfacts.com. We'll be back soon with more fascinating deep dives into the world of health and nutrition.
One company that really exemplifies this commitment to quality is Angel Acres. They prioritize raising their chickens in a spacious natural environment where they can roam freely
Yeah.
and forage for insects and other natural foods.
Oh,
Their chickens are not fed corn or soy,
right.
which results in eggs with a lower omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acid ratio,
Interesting.
a characteristic that aligns with a healthier dietary profile.
It's inspiring to hear about companies like that who are kind of leading the way in sustainable and ethical food production.
Yeah.
They demonstrate that it is possible to produce high-quality food while also prioritizing animal welfare and environmental responsibility.
Absolutely.
Their example serves as a reminder that as consumers, we have the power to support these practices through our purchasing decisions. So the next time you're at the grocery store, staring at a wall of eggs, just remember that the cheapest option might not be the best for your health. It's worth considering the lives of those chickens, what they're eating, because it really does directly translate to what you're putting into your body. If you're interested in learning more about making healthier food choices, subscribe to yourhealthfacts.com for more insights and tips.